great speaker to join us. We are fortunate to welcome our next keynote speaker, the Honorable Paul DeMuniz, who was... Maybe I'm going to... Can I do what Nancy did? Take it out of here? Nope. Okay, this is better for the short people and the tall people. Okay, so the Honorable Paul DeMuniz was elected to the Oregon Supreme Court in 2000 and served as the Court Chief Justice and Administrative Head of the Oregon Judicial Department from 2006 to 2012 when he retired. Between 1990 and 2000, he sat on the Oregon Court of Appeals and served as presiding judge on 3 of the panels that comprise that body. Prior to ascending to the bench, DeMuniz was in private practice for 13 years with the Salem law firm Garrett, Seidemann, Hammond, Robertson, and DeMuniz, PC, where he specialized in complex criminal and civil litigation, as well as appeals. From 1975 to 1977, he was a deputy public defender for the state of Oregon. Justice DeMuniz was elected to the board of directors of the Conference Chief Justices in 2008 and was inducted into the Warren E. Burger Society of the National Center for State Courts in 2011 in recognition of his commitment to improving the administration of justice within the states. Justice DeMuniz speaks frequently to national and international audiences. He has served as 2009 Robert H. Jackson Lecturer for the National Judicial College, and in 2010 addressed the judicial leaders from 55 countries at the Asian Pacific Courts Conference on Ways and Means of Judicial Branch Strategic Planning. In honor of his civic leadership in promoting sentences practices that promote public safety and reduce recidivism, the Pine Street Resource Center for Inmates Returning to Society was renamed the DeMuniz Resource Center. The center is operated by Community Action Agency in partnership with Marion County Reentry Initiative. Paul gives his time to a wide variety of causes, including serving as one of our very own mock trial program volunteers. Justice DeMuniz's work has been recognized with a number of state and national awards. Too many that we couldn't do all of them, so we chose one that was closest to our heart, which is the Oregon Classroom Law Project of 2011, Legal Citizen of the Year Award. We see that incredible commitment in his work with students all over Oregon. When we watch him putting in so many hours of his volunteer and valuable time teaching the mock trial program for Latino youth. Paul DeMuniz was raised by his mother in Portland and attended Portland Public Schools. After finishing high school, he joined the U.S. Air Force and served 1-year tour of duty in Vietnam. After his discharge from the service, he received a bachelor's degree from Portland State University in 1972 and his Juris Doctor from Willamette University College of Law in 1975. In 2010, Hispanic Business Magazine named him among the 100 most influential Hispanics in America. In 2012, Willamette University awarded Paul DeMuniz the honorary degree of Doctor of Laws. Paul DeMuniz and his wife, Mary, reside in Salem and have 3 grown children and 2 grandchildren. Please help me welcome the Honorable Paul DeMuniz.
Laura, that was a really kind introduction. It was just as my mother wrote it. I need to update my resume because we now have 3 grandchildren. I want to start, first of all, by thanking you all to be here, but I want to thank Aunt Olivia in particular. I've had the privilege of working with her for about 9 months now, and the way she stepped in with the coalition and what she has done is deserving of very high praise, and I want to tell you how much we appreciate that. And I also want to thank you. You know, I go to a lot of these. This is a great salad. So I accepted the invitation to speak here this afternoon for two reasons. One, I wanted to really help to influence you to understand about the great work that the Coalition does and what an impact it makes on children's lives. And the second reason was I want to give my own personal observations about and you've heard some reference to it, the mock trial program that we have through the Coalition. So let me begin. As the name, Salem-Keizer Coalition for Equality, makes clear, it's dedicated to equality. So you might ask, equality in what? And I think, Nancy, you did a good job of saying what that equality is. It's about equality and opportunity. That's really the issue here, is equality in opportunity. And I suspect that everyone who's here would agree with me that education is the greatest agent for economic and social change that exists in America. The GI Bill transformed American life with the education of servicemen. In fact, recent studies have showed that it's one of the cheapest social programs ever undertaken in the United States, and it completely transformed American society. I attended college and law school under the auspices of the GI Bill. But it's education that transforms people's lives. Education transformed my life. I was the first person in my family ever to go to college, and of course my 3 children who went to 2 of the greatest universities in this country thought it was their God-given right. So it transforms not only the life of the person who gets that education, but those who come after them. That's why I'm so passionate about believing in what the Coalition does. There was reference, Nancy made reference to a reading program. Leyendo Avanzamos is, as I say it, reading together we advance. So this is a program that's not only targeted with targeted reading programs for children, but it's also targeted toward their parents. All of you who sit here today know we all want the best for our children. I watch my daughter and son-in-law read to their children every single night. I'm absolutely in awe of the reading capacity of the oldest grandson at 6 years old, where he gets these words. I'm actually afraid that where some of them will come from. So, but we all know just absolutely how important reading is. And some of us are fortunate, even if we're born in difficult circumstances, we're fortunate to be introduced to reading at a very young stage in our lives. For me, it was my grandfather who literally taught me to read by reading the classics to me like Treasure Island and Robinson Crusoe, and as I used to say, the Alexander Dumas books. Okay? That's a joke. Okay? That's a joke. Okay? But I literally had a grandfather who, on his own, I could read by the time I went to kindergarten. And that was really kind of unknown in those days, but that's how important it is. You heard Nancy tell you, study after study, and I'll say it slightly different than you did. Study after study shows that if kids from disadvantaged backgrounds can read on grade level at 3rd grade, they graduate from high school at the same rate as their peers from advantaged backgrounds. That's how important reading is, and that's what the coalition is about. In the pilot program at Four Corners, they've reached over 430 children and over 450 parents, emphasizing to those parents how important it will be to your child's success that they be literate, and teaching them how to encourage reading. And that's what that's all about. So the other thing I really want to do here is the coalition, is funded, it gets money from foundations, etc., but we as a community should be embracing this program. We as a community should be lifting this program up. I'm a big proponent of public education, but I have to say it is a little shocking in Oregon that we have the shortest school year in the country, and that our children graduate from high school. They're the 48th worst in the country. Okay, we have to change that, and I know there are programs underway to do that, but it is surprising to me, having grown up and spent my whole life in Oregon, that we fit in that statistical area. But what my point in saying that is not to criticize the government, but to say, it should say to all of us that we as a community have to make sure that all of our children get the educational opportunities that will make them successful. And supporting the coalition is the way in which we can do that. So that's my part about the general idea. Now I want to tell you about something that is a passion for me. And that's the Salem-Keizer Coalition mock trial team. So when I was, 2 years ago, when I announced that I was retiring from the Supreme Court, I was stepping down as chief, retiring from the Supreme Court. The first person knocking on my chamber's door was Eduardo. Well, now you'll have a lot of time, okay? And of course, I was reluctant. I'm going to be teaching at the law school, blah, blah, blah. He says, no, you'll have a lot of time, okay? Okay? And this, our conversation, this is what he wanted. This was his vision. He wanted a program for high school students, and he wanted a program that would include an understanding of how government works, the power of the law as a tool to achieve equality in our society. He wanted a program that would enhance the students' critical thinking skills and that would strengthen their ability to articulate important issues on behalf of the communities in which they were raised, in which they belong. He talked to me about debate, about a debate team, and I said, I'm really sorry, I don't know anything about debate. Of course, he was quick to say, well, that's funny, you've been a lawyer all your life. I said, well, I know about mock trial. I was involved in that when my kids were students at Sprague High School. I started the program at North that lasted for a while after they left. This will meet those criteria. And so we set about doing that, and we have had over 70 students participate in our programs over the last 2 years. We've been in 4 competitions, statewide competitions. We meet at literally almost every Wednesday night at Willamette College of Law from September through March. Think of the commitment that is for students, and many of our students work, they play sports, and they do not miss mock trial. In fact, I'm not sure this is legal, but we made them sign a pledge that they would be there, and we made their parents sign one. So nobody's sued us over that yet, but I'm sure one of these smart kids will. Okay? Their coaches have included former Chief Justice Edwin Peterson, Justice Martha Walters, Court of Appeals Judge Doug Tukey, Marion County Circuit Judge Lindsay Partridge, who's here, A number of lawyers, Tina Hill, who's here from the Marion County DA's office, Vanessa Nordyke from the Department of Justice, Travis Dickey, who's in private practice, and Emily Reyna Dozier, who was Justice Walters' law clerk, so she made her come. No, she was actually a great coach. And then Jessica Santiago, who's also a lawyer, was the person who organized for us all the time and did all of the administrative work. What I think is interesting is that last year we had a community event in which we asked, it was a kind of a fundraising kind of thing. We had a lot of people in the audience like you, and we asked two of our students if they would tell the audience about mock trial. What did you get from this? Now, let me paraphrase that by saying, or put a caveat to that. It isn't about what we give to them. We get back so much more from that interaction with them and watching them, just watching them grow. And here's how it works. So when these two students got up to speak, I thought I was going to hear from them, oh, we learned about the court system, and we learned about judges and lawyers and all of that. That's not what they emphasized. Oh, they said some of that stuff, okay? But here is what I went back and found this in my notes. This is what they said. They said participation in mock trial has given them confidence to speak up in class, confidence to engage their teachers about the material that they're being asked to learn, the ability to think critically, and the ability to cogently articulate ideas and issues. Those things that they learned in mock trial, those were all characteristics they took, but they said the most important thing, it improved our grades markedly. It improved their grades because of critical thinking, but more importantly, it was the confidence to stand up and engage in these ideas. I guarantee you, when they get to law school, and they will get there, they will not feel like I did. They will feel like they belong at what they're doing. So I think it's really important for me also to acknowledge Willamette University College of Law. They have been our partners in this for 2 years. They have made the law school and their courtroom. Our kids don't have to practice in a classroom. They practice in a damn courtroom. Okay? We're about to have our second annual, we call it mock trial boot camp. It's a 2-day workshop built on the anatomy of a trial. And it's built for those teachers in the crowd, at least this is the way I think it's good to learn. It's lecture, demonstration, and then they do it. We had 55 kids in our 2-day mock trial boot camp last year, and we anticipate even more this year. As a result of that boot camp, we fielded not just one team, but 2 mock trial teams that participated in the state competition this year. And I know that, and West Salem is very, very good. We came close to beating them this year, okay? They're losing their teacher. We will beat them next year, I can tell you. So let me conclude with this. There were 7 seniors in our program. All 7 of those seniors, not only graduating from high school, they have all been accepted to college, and every one of them is garnering scholarships. And we are actually have our fingers crossed, pins and needles. One of our seniors is a finalist for a big scholarship through the Classroom Law Project. So this works. So I think to sum up, in the end, the coalition is about education. It's about equal opportunity for everyone in our community, and I think that's something that everybody in our community can support. Thank you.